All right, everyone. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Melody, CEO and founder of Pro Event Planners, curators of eco focused events. Have you ever been to an event that just feels like you don't know what's happening, when, where, you don't know where to go next, who's going on next, and what's the purpose of this thing, and why does this person just keep talking, 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 and then there's no point to the whole conversation? There's no real flow. You're not sure what's going on. Well, my dear, that is over programming. And on today's live, I'm going to share with you how to solve event planning nightmares like a pro. And today we're focusing on over programming. So, I am an eco focused event planner. That means I plan events for people who are steeped in sustainability. They have it running in their lives, they manage the waste of energy and water and paper and food. And they also take it a step further and do that in their business as well. I also support those who are aware that they're wasting a lot. They're wasting money, they're wasting time, they're wasting food, water, paper, all of it. There's just waste everywhere. And they need some support. So they reach out to me and I hold their hands and we take tiny eco-focused steps that over time, when compounded, makes a big impact on the environment. So what is sustainability anyway? Sustainability is meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. In melody speak, that means we get to live big and bold and expansive with the mindset that we're not going to ride it till the wheels fall off. We're going to save some of the resources for our children and our children's children and people 10 generations deep so that they can enjoy an expansive life as well. Now, there are three pillars to sustainability. The first one, and it's not in any particular order, but the first one is the environment, where we cycle, reduce the usage of stuff we already use here. Maybe we're just uh, using, and just buying more instead of looking for ways to expand the life of the product. And we reuse what we already have. So if we have clothes, maybe we can uh, use it for a different purpose. You know, old T-shirts you can use to wash your car, or food that you eat, the peels from a banana or an orange. Ooh, let's do the orange. So when you get an orange and you peel it, of course you eat the pulp and you drink the juice, right? When you bite it, you do both at the same time. The seeds you can plant, the orange skin you can boil in water and that becomes an air freshener for your house. You can put that water in a bottle and you can use it as a disinfectant or cleaner for surfaces in your house. You can take the peel and dry it in your oven. I want to say 200 degrees for about maybe 30 minutes or so until it's dry and crispy. And like yeah, maybe 200 degrees. That's just, don't put me on that, but until it's dry and crispy. So you keep your eye on it. You take it out and you can put it in your food processor or your blender and you make it into like a fine crumble. And that can be seasoning when you're doing seafood or an orange chicken or even making a tea. You can also take the peels from that and put in your composter, and it's going to break down and become compost to regenerate the soil in your garden or in your flower pot. You can even use the orange water that is an air freshener and surface cleaner. You can spritz it on your plants and it'll get rid of bugs, all from the one orange. All right. So that's a good way to have like a zero waste kind of a life. It does take some knowing and some learning and some trying, but it's absolutely worth it. All right. And then the next is recycle. You can give away clothes that can't fit you anymore, or convert. Uh, let's say you lost some weight and you have larger clothes, you can convert those into a smaller version. Like if you have jeans, you can convert that into a skirt. Maybe you can do it yourself if you know how to sew, or you can take it to a company like a seamstress who can convert that for you. The third option is, well, actually, the fourth option, I added my fourth, and that's upcycling. You can convert furniture into a different kind of furniture. You can take a chair and make it into, if it's a wooden chair, you can make it into a small side table. You could just do so many things without wasting and buying more. The third pillar is social responsibility. You want to make sure that if it's good for the environment, it's also good for your pocket, because it's pointless to be completely eco-focused but you're broke. All right. So we want to make sure that people have a job, they have food to eat, they have health care, and that we take care of everybody. We love our neighbors as ourselves. All right. That is, those are the three pillars, and I added a little fourth to the environmental option, but those are the three main pillars of sustainability. On today's show, we're going to talk about over programming your event. And what is an event program? It's just a guideline that tells people. Actually, let me read my definition that I wrote. Event programs help your guests coordinate and let them know how, let them know what's in store so they know when and where to be or what's coming next. It's a guidance so you know what's coming next, where to go, where to be, what's going to happen. I know when I go to events and I'm not sure what's happening, I'm like, okay, do you know? Like when you go to the mall and you're lost, you're trying to find a place, you go to that board. That's almost like a directory, and your program is like the directory for your event. You have the ceremony over here, you have the reception here, you have the after party here, and it starts at this time. All right. Now, what are the elements that make up an event program? It definitely has to have a title of the particular section of the event. So let's say you're going to a wedding. The first thing you're going to see on the program is the ceremony and what's going to happen during the ceremony. Well, if you have a 4 o'clock ceremony, then at 3:30, guests seated. At 3:45, parents of the bride or grandparents of the bride and the groom are seated. By that, get down the aisle and be seated in the front. While that's happening, you'll have maybe somebody play a harp or a violin, or you'll have a quartet or a saxophone, whatever your vibe is. There's some music going on just for the ambiance of it all. 4 o'clock, then there is the groom. He either walks down the aisle or just walks up to the altar from the side. After that, then you have the wedding party and then the bride. So by a good 4:15, ceremony should be starting. During the ceremony, then you'll have maybe parents, the mother of the bride will read a Bible verse, mother of the groom, and so on. Then you go to, it's all done. Then that's 4, so maybe 5, there is the cocktail hour, and then 6, the reception starts, and then maybe by 9 o'clock you go somewhere else for the after party. So at every stage of the event, you have an idea of what's happening, and those are some basic elements of a program. If it's a corporate event, then you'll see breakfast at 8. and general session at 9. And then the first breakout session at 10, second breakout session at 10:30, and then so on and so forth until you get to lunch at noon, and then you have the afternoon session. So you'll know exactly what's happening where. Breakfast in the atrium, general session in the grand ballroom, breakout session in salon A, breakout session in salon B, lunch in the atrium. And so you're never confused as to what's happening where. So those are the elements, the basic elements of the program. Now that can, uh, be flexible and different based on the type of event and the purpose of the event. All right. So what is overprogramming and its effect on event attendees? Now, overprogramming is the tendency to pack just too much content or activities or experiences in your event. It's like overload. This can overwhelm or exhaust your attendees, your speakers, your sponsors, your exhibitors. Everybody can be like, yo, this is too much. Like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? When is this ending? What's happening? I'm ready to go home. Event planners should avoid overprogramming by finding the right balance. And event planners, I don't mean like the professionals, because they know the non-professional that's planning the event, this content is for you. You get to not overwhelm your attendees. And then you get to do that by finding the right balance, deciding how much to include, and ensure that whatever you include is the highest quality, offering a mix without going overboard. Okay? So I'm going to share with you some ways to avoid over programming. The first thing I do is to define the focus of the event. Okay, so it's a wedding. Great. We know what's going to happen there. It's a board meeting. We know, okay, it's a smaller meeting, maybe 3 to 10 people, and it's a small room, very intimate, private, the minimal AV because it's brainstorming or discussing or whatever it is. It's a conference, so it's a larger event. You need several spaces and breakout rooms and all that. So once you define the purpose of the event, uh, is the conference to talk about new things that the company is doing? Is it an industry specific where like it's a tourism conference? It's a travel related conference. It's a financial conference, banking. It's a real estate conference. You define the purpose and what's the theme. If you're doing a wedding that is, let's say it's like a coming to America type deal, you know exactly what to expect. So the look and feel is going to say coming to America and Africa. The program is going to exhibit that. And then you're going to see the elements on there that speak to that, maybe some languaging that connects you to the theme, maybe some words in African, whatever the African language is, or based on the country, if it's Ghana or if it's Senegalese or if it's Ethiopia, whatever it is, they add some authentic verbiage in there, maybe a little explanation, so people will feel like they're experiencing the theme on a deeper level. All right. Then you figure out your messaging. Is it a romantic wedding? Is it an exciting wedding? Is it a demure minimalist wedding? You get that messaging across in the look and feel of the program, as well as the decor, as well as the content. All right. That's number one. Number two is you curate event content carefully for relevance and impact. If you're doing the Coming to America wedding, it is not far-fetched to see that before the bride and groom comes up the aisle, you may have like an African Back. All right. So we're going to curate the event content carefully for relevance and impact. So if it's a coming to America theme, it's not uncommon to see dancing down the aisle or on the stage, drums and costumes and all that. And then once the dance is done, then you have some ladies in dramatic African garb with baskets of rose petals that they're sprinkling down the aisle before the bride comes out. There's no confusion as to what is happening. It's an African themed wedding, and hence you have that. Um, if you want to, even on the program itself, you can maybe have an like a, I guess, an African choir, you know, the Lion King song, just something dramatic and big that it impacts the event visually, audibly, the content, and it's relevant. Number three, design the agenda wisely, ensuring flexibility. Don't schedule the items on the agenda so tight together that people don't have a minute to breathe in between each thing. If you are having, let's go with the wedding first. If you're having a wedding and you have the mother of the bride will read a Bible verse, and then little Susie Q, the niece, will do a song, and then somebody else will do a dance, and then somebody will do a poem. Then the mother of the groom will say, you'll think you're at more like a church concert than a wedding. So there's no need to cram everybody in there. A workaround for that is you keep the mother of the bride and the mother of the groom reading the Bible verse during the ceremony and maybe a song from a professional person, like a love song. And then the kids who want to do performance, they can perform maybe the day before at the wedding rehearsal or the day after at the wedding brunch or the wedding breakfast. So nobody's going to be offended because it's still the wedding celebration and the kids did get to perform. Or you could use the power of your no and say, I do not want little Susie Q to be singing or doing anything. It's just, I don't want that in my wedding, and it's my wedding and I get to have it the way I want, in a loving and kind way. But use the power of your no. I've seen so many brides who want to please everyone, and the things that they want to see doesn't all get to come true because this person is paying for this and this, they feel like they owe the person. But if they're giving you that money for your wedding as a gift, they get to give the money as a gift, and that's it. It's up to you to do what you want with your wedding. Accept the gift, be grateful for it, send a thank you card, profusely thank them if you must. But how you want your wedding to be is how you and your groom, let's not forget the groom, how you and your groom want your wedding to be. So Susie Q or little Janie gets to perform either rehearsal or breakfast, wedding brunch or wedding breakfast, or not at all. It's your choice. When it comes to corporate events, if you have the breakfast at 8, general session at 9, and then breakouts at 10, you don't go 10, 10:30, 11. And so there's no time for people to walk from the general session right into the breakout session. So general session starts from 9, ends at 10. Then the breakout session gets to start at 10:15. So right after general session, people can go drink some water, they can go use the restroom, they can go make a quick call and check in with the office. And that gives them that 10, 15-minute cushion in between breakouts. And at the end of that breakout session, another 10, 15 minutes, because they have to walk from place to place. And convention centers are huge. And the rooms may not all be right next to each other. And so there may be some walking involved. And people need to use the restroom. They call them bio breaks. All right. So you don't cram the program and schedule everybody within an inch of their life. There is some cushion. So that was number 3. The fourth and last one is provide attendees with ample breaks and comfort and offer personalized choices. So if you are having a conference that is maybe like a 4 hour, so you have breakfast at 8, and then for the next 4 hours you're in session. It's like a big conference where there's different keynote speakers that go up on the stage. You can decide that after every speaker, give people a 10-15 minute bio break. So the session starts at 9. At maybe 10:30, you can give them a bio break, or call it an AM break, which is, there's some coffee, there's some juice, and maybe some kind of a pastry of sorts. They can use that time to snack on. They can even do health bars as the AM break. Health bars, and some juice and some fruit. That's the AM break. And they can use that as a bio break as well. They use the bathroom, have a snack, they come back. They go through the session again, and then the next break is lunch. They go through the session again, and then the next break is PM break, which PM breaks can be like some pastries or chips, some fruit for those who do that, and coffee, tea, and soda. So there's no prolonged exposure to extensive amounts of speeches and just talking, and presentations. And people don't have a minute to kind of break, because not all speakers are engaging. They may have great content, but not everyone holds everyone's attention. So people need a minute to adjust. If they don't get those few minutes to adjust, hey Dahlia, if they don't get the few minutes to adjust, their attention is going to wander, and they're going to be bored, and they're going to be distracted. They're going to be on their phone listening to TikTok instead of paying attention to the speaker. This morning, Dahlia, we're talking about over programming your event, like scheduling what's going to happen when. And sometimes people just cram too much activities into an event, and it gets boring, and people's attention wander, and they get tired, and they may even leave and go outside for a smoke break and just stay out there, and just not attend. So when you give them breaks in between, each time they come back from the break, they're kind of fresh and rejuvenated and ready to listen. Now, the next section is how to go eco with your event programming. Now, there are 3 ways that I have. One, of course, most people like to receive a paper program when they go to an event. It's something they can keep as a souvenir, as a memory from the day, or they follow along by reading. So I'm not a big fan of printing a lot of programs, because some people will just leave it on the seat and toss it, and you spend a lot of money printing in color, good quality, and in getting a graphic designer to put it all together. It's just a waste. To combat that, you can have your program be on recycled paper. So already that's a win-win. So recycled paper, and you could even take it a step further by having it be a seeded recycled paper. That means whoever makes the paper embeds seeds of flowers or vegetables in the paper. And that is something that is not very popular. It's attention getting. So people are wanting to maybe take these papers home and plant it to see if it'll grow. At the end of the event, if you still have some left behind, you can have your event staff gather them and you can donate them to a community garden and have them plant it. You know, donate it to a school and have the schools plant it as an experiment. So it's not going to be wasted. The second option is if you have to have something printed, you can have a program poster board posted at the entrance into the event. So when people are coming in, they can see, okay, so this is what's happening at 8 o'clock. This is what's happening at 9 in this room, 10 in this room, and this is the speaker, and this is their topic. They can take a picture of it on their phone and have it with them because they're going to be on their phone anyway. They'll have it with them so they can always look at that and there's no paper wasted, except for the poster board, which you can put in a recycle bin or shred it up and put it in your composter because you can put paper in a composter. It'll shred down and it adds to the soil structure. So that's not a bad thing. So that's number two. The third option is to use a QR code. A QR code, well, the definition of QR code is a quick response code. It's like it's a square picture. It's like a gateway to content. So it looks like a pixelated, like broken up pictures. You can't really tell a design in it because it's black and white most of the time, and you can see spaces in between. So it doesn't really make a pattern that we, with our visual eyes, can understand, but our phone can read it, and it's almost like a link to a website. So you use the camera on your phone, put it up to the QR code, it'll highlight the square of the QR code in yellow, and you can touch the square up into a page, or just below the QR code on your phone, you'll see a little yellow, almost like a hyperlink banner of sorts, and you can press that and it opens up. It opens up to a page, a web page that has the program. Maybe it also has the menu. It can also house information on each speaker and their content, maybe their experience in the field, what makes them the right person to be speaking on this topic, all this information once you click on the QR code. And it's helpful. The good thing about the QR code is because it goes to a web page, if there are last minute changes to the program, you can do that on the back end and it'll update in real time. Whereas if you have paper programs printed, if something happens, maybe a speaker change happens or speaker name was spelled wrong and it was noticed last minute, then some people may want to gather up all the already printed programs, toss them, reprint a whole new set, and redistribute. Such a waste of paper. So those are the three ways to go eco with your programming. Recycled paper, seeded paper. You can go a poster board, one poster board at the entrance of the event so people can take a quick picture as they enter, or a QR code. Now, designing a program to match your event that is on message, that is themed correctly, that has the right amount of content, it takes some time and some know-how to put that together. To support you, that activity is included in my pro event package. This is the hire it done for you package that allows you to share with me the kind of event you want to have, the look and feel that you want to have, the purpose of the event, what kind of return on investment you're looking for if it's a corporate event, and what's important to you about this event, and then how much money you have to make this event happen. I take that information and I hit the ground running and make sure that from start to finish, all the things that you've asked for is included. I have your theme, so I find the right venue. In the example that we were giving today, we were talking about a coming to America themed wedding. So if that's the case, I'll find a great outdoor garden wedding that looks maybe tropical, here. We make sure that the caterer prepares uh, food that is authentic to Africa. The the food you eat with your hand if you want to go that connected, or eat it with knife and fork, but the flavorings and the seasonings and the presentation and the centerpieces, everything is all themed. All right. So that's what we do. We go down the list of all the elements that are necessary for your event and we take care of that for you. I call it my hire it done. You don't have to worry about it. You just show up to the wedding and have a great time. You show up to your conference and focus on your keynote speech. You show up to your brand launch and talk with your guests and sell your product, whatever you need to do, while Pro Event Planners handles all the details behind this scene. Now, if you have any questions on uh, corporate events, weddings, how to do your event programming. Maybe you need help in putting your program together. Maybe you just want that project work done. Let's connect. My name is Melody Dixon, CEO and founder of Pro Event Planners, curators of eco-focused events. My email address is info@myproeventplanners. All right. That is it for today, my friends. Dahlia, thank you so much for joining me. I will see you guys tomorrow when we'll talk about another way to solve an event planning nightmare like a pro. All right. Thank you and take care.